What's up everybody, how you doing? This is a video right here on how to tie some Jordan 6 Bordeaux laces, at least the way I tie my shoes. Now, this is how they look, obviously, normally when you get them. I took off the lace lock just for regular dramatic effect. I'm not having it. Ooh. So this is what they would look like stock, basically, without the lace lock and everything. Tied up nice and neat and everything like that. And I'm gonna show you a couple different examples on how to lace them. Now, since with these Bordeaux, you actually get a second set of laces, which is not the black, comes with it. These color ones right here, sort of like a, I guess it's supposed to be Bordeaux as well, but it looks like a kind of a crimson red wine color. They're very nice. So this is what I do, and this is how I get my specific look. Now you can do whatever you want, but this is what I do. Now, the first thing you want to do is delace your whole shoe. Yes, you have to delace the whole thing because you need them both like this. And what I do is I give it actually, now I'm going to show you two different looks on how to do it, because you can either do it where, see, this is what I'm doing. I'm putting both the laces overlapping each other. So when you have a lace, it'll have like the both colors. Because why have one when you can have two? You see what I'm saying right here? And depending on which lace you want on top, it will give you a different look. So if you want the Bordeaux lace like that, it'll give you the black kind of like highlight of it. And if you want the black with the Bordeaux highlight, it'll be like that. So I'm gonna show you both, and this is how you do it. So basically what you're gonna do is start by taking both your laces and putting them in. Now the first lace usually is the harder part, because you have to get everything all straight and flat. That's like the difficulty of it. Now what I'm going to start with is actually the Bordeaux on bottom and the black on top. So we're going to have like the piping or accent of the Bordeaux color. So the first thing you want to do is when you put your laces in, obviously you want to get them right down the middle. So make sure when you put it in and it's in the middle like this, you actually have the lace kind of even when you pull them all the way up. It's out of frame right now, but not quite yet. Still got a couple more inches. Just pull. Don't worry about it being flat at the moment. Just make sure you get them actually even, because that's kind of imperative. So a little more. Okay, once you can stretch them out and they're basically the same length like this, you should be good to go. And you just have to do the same. Now what you want to do actually before you do that is make sure this is flat. You can do it before or after, it doesn't really matter. I like to do it after because that way I know exactly what to do. Now, you just do it again with the black. Now the black one's gonna go on top. So whichever one you want on top, you put that one last, at least second. Right? Now the fit will be slightly tighter because you're able to lace it. Shove it in, it'll fit, don't worry. Hole is big enough for the both of us. And you can kind of cheat a little bit with the second lace, because all you have to do is just basically stretch out the one that you already put in that's even, and just make sure the black goes all the way to that level, or whatever color the second lace matches it. That way it's kind of like you don't have to finagle with it as long. So it's almost there. It has a little extra slack, so pull it in right there. Perfect. And what you do is this one, yeah, you can just go straight into like trying to make it as flat as possible. So what you do is just when you hold it, pinch it, and then run your finger all the way up like this until you get to the end. And you see how it's right like this and nice and flat. You want to keep this one on the, see that little loop part right there? Keep that on the bottom, doesn't really matter either way, but it's just a good reference. Oops. Let's do this. Now, like I said, it is a little tight, but don't worry, it'll fit. Just shove it in, man. Don't worry, you'll get used to it. Just pull it in if you can kind of guide it with your finger a little bit, that kind of helps, like this. That way it stays flat, because basically keeping them flat is kind of imperative to this style. Now you could probably go crazy with it, but it won't look as nice and neat. It'll look kind of like all over the place. There we go. Now you see, see how you got the contrast right here? A little closer for you. How it's the black and the Bordeaux, like that. Beautiful. You'll see the end result. So now that you got both laces, and just double check, make sure everything is even. Everything's pretty even, pretty much, so you're good to go. Now what you want to do is, the first one that you do is, see, this is the inside of the foot, not the outside. So now to keep in line with the black being on top and the Bordeaux being on the bottom, always remember to do whichever one you want on the bottom first when you do the crossover. So you may have to actually play with it also on this side right here, because as we showed on the loop right here on the first, the black was on top, but now it's going to be on the bottom when we come over this way. So if you want to naturally take it, it's going to have the Bordeaux on top and the black on the bottom, if that makes sense. I don't know if you're following along here. So you're going to have to kind of like play with it a little bit. So look at the shoe a little bit and make sure that your black lace will be on the top portion. You just kind of have to like finagle it just a little bit. It's not that big of a deal. You'll get it once you play with it just enough. And then you just going to go across. Put it in the eyelet. You can see. And just make sure when you're pulling it at the end, kind of like make sure it's flat. So kind of like you're going to have to seesaw it just a little bit, like your dental flossing. Floss it out. In there. What we're going to do is take the black and just repeat what we did. So now when you stick in the black, because it's going to be the one on top, you got to make sure that when you stick it in the eyelet, that it's actually on top of the lace that you put in first. Trust me, this is not as easy as it looks sometimes. It takes a little patience once you get it. This hole definitely takes. Come on, there you go. Oh wow. There's some birth canal. Jeez. Alright, you might have a little trouble getting this one particular one through, but don't worry. It'll manage. Wow, but it is extremely tight. The rest of the eyelets seem a lot bigger than that one. I think it's just that one. This first particular one seems to be very, very tight, at least in my opinion. Okay, we got that. Now we're going to repeat the process. Hopefully, it won't be as tough. Grab it again, linguine style. Stick it through. Now, if it seems a little tight on the eyelet, what you can do a little bit is actually put the plastic part through. You can hear it like kind of sounds really tight. What you can do is kind of just like bend this around a little bit with the plastic part in it. That way it kind of stretches it out a little bit. Because some of these eyelets are pretty tight on this shoe in particular. Do the little seesaw technique. Your linguine number 2, follow all the way up so it's nice and flat. You want to find where the hole is if you can. Good Lord. Wow, these eyelets are super duper tight. You really have to kind of like feel it through. But they'll get through, don't worry. It just takes a little finagling. But you'll get in there. You fret. This is where it starts to get extra complex, because you got to make sure they're kind of flat on each other a little bit. There we go. I'm a model, you know go. And that's your first hurdle. When you're lacing these shoes like this, put this shoe tree back in it. You have the original ones or anything, just keeps it nice and sturdy, like there's a foot in it. That way you have a better base. All right, now that we've done that, we're gonna do the same thing. So remember, the outside laces, you don't have to do it, but this is what I do. The outside laces always go over. So you start with the inside first and work your way. Now, since we're doing the red Bordeaux color on the bottom, this one always goes over first. Now the question is, which lace to use right here for this one? I'm assuming the top one is fine. I don't know if this one is really imperative to use, if it's just for style. I mean, I think it's still a real lace lock or eyelet, but I don't know if many people use it. I think it's if you really want a real tight fit, which okay, so we got that one. Let's seesaw a little bit. So tight though, wow. It's a little complex, like I said. It's not that bad. It's just these, I guess the first few eyelets are super tight. They're just super tight. It's not working out as much as it's supposed to. Keep pulling it through. If you want, you can actually just take them both at the same time and kind of guide them through a little bit. Now, depending on the lace, sometimes you don't really see the Bordeaux as much, especially if the tongue is the same color. But don't worry, you do see it on like important spots. And like I said, if you want to do the Bordeaux on the bottom, or actually the black on the bottom and Bordeaux on top, it'll pop out a little more. So take it, go like this. Put it in, so it don't feel tight. It feels okay. The way I'm disco dancing. I think it's just harder for me to do on camera because I'm in a weird angle. That's all. I'm trying not to stick my head in, blocking the camera. I'm like kind of far away from it. Okay, there it is. Excellent. Third verse, same as the first. So just remember, when you put it through, you're gonna have to kind of like fight with them a little bit to tug this one, whichever one that you want on the bottom, to make sure it's kind of on the top of this section. That way it's just easier to get across. This one feels like it's gonna be a tight fit. Okay. We're living the dream with these really tight fits, man. Holy monkeys. So seesaw it like you're dental flossing. This one feels like it's definitely really tight. There we go. Wow. Okay, here's another tight one. Now this one is tight, obviously, yes, but as I said, I think it would be easier if I could actually not do it on camera this far away. was at a better angle, I could probably do this a little easier. So I'm grunting and groaning over here like crazy, but trust me, it's not as bad as if it was if you were doing it yourself. Okay, that one. Just gonna do this a little bit. Wait, let me just go bend some. What I'm finding that helps a little bit also is if you can see how the lace bows a little bit. See how you see that little like lip going like this and not going down like that way. So that kind of helps you guide in your tip right there. Push it in. Yeah. That definitely helps a little bit right there. So to alleviate some woes ever so slightly, that helps. But also if I was looking at the shoe a little closer, 100% of it. What I do is seesaw it a little bit, make sure it looks like it's fitting together. Seesaw them both. Now this is the section where you can go kind of wildly. Because you can either put your laces underneath this little guard right here, or you can even put them over. Honestly, it doesn't matter, but for the sake of keeping it the original style, we're gonna kind of pronounce the Jumpman a little bit, so we're gonna go underneath. And going underneath kind of hides like the lace thing a little bit, so use it at your discretion, whatever you feel like doing. If you feel like showing your laces out a little more, just go right over this. But if you want to keep it a little more traditional, true to the shoe itself, go under this little tongue tab right here. And also when you go under the tongue tab a little bit, you know, you don't have to be so precise. So you can hide some of your dirty little secrets right underneath the tongue. Ooh. And like I said, you don't have to go super duper precise on this one because it's kind of behind that tongue tab. So it doesn't really matter as much if you kind of get it a little jumbled. But if you really want to go crazy, you can kind of seesaw it out if you like. Just find them both flat, and there you go. You see how they're both more flatter than before? I don't know if the light, you can see it. How dark is this video? I can't tell. Well, take my word for it. They're flat. Slap so much. Come on, I know you're there. Oh my god. Okay. I'm gonna be honest with you. I am sweating like a ham hock. Woo. Bruh. Well, I am in California and it's like 80-something degrees outside. It's always sunny in California. Okay, so you see how we got this a little too much? Just play with it a little bit. Now you know how to do that. There we go. Tightest eyelet you've ever faced. This is like the final boss of eyelets, man. I'm telling you. Holy motherless goats! Come on! Stretch it out a little bit. You need to work out. Do some Pilates. Come on, you. Don't floss it out. Where's the? Okay, I thought I lost it. I can't see. I'm telling you, when you do this yourself, it's going to be a lot easier. Because I'm doing this on camera, and I have to get weird angles. When you're doing it yourself, it's so much easier. I mean, it's still tight. Don't get me wrong. It'll be tight, and it'll be a little bit of a struggle, but it will not be anywhere near what you want. There we go. Oh my God. Turning out. This one, sometimes that happens. It's okay. Not the end of the world. And give it a little extra pop with the Bordeaux lace. But you could be crazy and just kind of fix it. Now the question is, how tight do you like your laces? Do you like them tight or not? I don't know. If you don't like them too tight, make sure you have a little bit of slack, because these things are like super duper tight when there's two laces in it. That keeps them. It's almost like a lace lock on them on each eyelet. So make sure that when you put them in, that they're not like tighter than your mom. Kind of compare them a little bit. Are they looking like they are the stuff? Yes, they are. Okay. Now there's some people that untab this tongue tab, whatever you want to call this thing. But I did hear that if you untab it once, it's like hard to retab them. They don't stay tabbed as well as they are like by stock default untabbed. And I feel that's kind of true. Maybe it depends on your pair. I don't know, but I'm a firm believer in it. So if you don't ever want to untab them, don't. And when you do, you break the seal. It's donezo. I mean, they'll still tab. It's just like they're more likely to untab out of nowhere for any dumb reason. It's kind of strange. Okay, going backwards. Let's start with this one. But like I said, it doesn't really matter when you're under the tongue like here, this part, because you just don't really see them as much. So it's not that big of a deal how well you do it. But if you want to be super duper thorough, you can. But it's a little bit of a pain. The whole process is a pain, I'll be honest with you, but going under this tongue thing is even more so. Especially with how we're doing it. This is like the final boss. This is the Dark Souls of tying your shoes. We'll go with that. You want the Dark Souls level of tying your shoes? This is it, buddy. Everyone's just gonna die before they finish it, or they're just gonna give up. Which I have faith in you that you can complete this. Believe me, if I can do it, you can too. If Yen can cook, then so can you. All right? Never forget that. Never. Oh, what, did I go through the wrong way? No, I did. I meant to go through the top. That's fine. We'll just take both of them. Okay, let's finger through. This is actually picking up on the camera. Forget this one. Yen can cook, then so can you. Amen, brother. I don't think you guys know anything about Yen can cook. That'd be amazing. Shout out to Yen can cook, man. If Yen can cook, so can you. If Emilio can tie, then so can you. Basically, that's how that mantra works. Okay, you see how they're kind of all jumbled a little bit? You can fix that. There are holes? Holy cow, there are holes there! Did you notice that? I didn't notice that. I can use it as a guide. Now you have two ways to do this part right here. You can either take these and keep going both laces through one eyelet, or you can just go Sasquatch crazy and put the black in one and the Bordeaux in the other. You can tie them together. As one lace, or you can tie them separately with two laces. Whatever you feel like doing. Man, this was not easy on camera. I'm gonna be honest with you. It is a lot easier if you're not on camera, but this is the look you get. And let me show you the two different tying techniques, which is not really a technique because it's just literally tying your shoe. So you can tie it with one tie like this and the other tie like this, and you have two separate ties if you really like that tie look. I don't know how the kids are rocking them these days, but you can do that, and that's how that'll look versus the one single tie. You see what I'm getting at here? All right. But F that, baby goop. What you do is just tie them like a normal one tie to rule them all. All right, so there you have it. You can go from this to this with 10 hours of frustration. The way I'm disco dancing. So this is that look I was saying. No laces, no nothing. Just straight up space age look, like your space age. Versus the actual regular classic black laces tied up. You can judge for yourself. Now when you're walking without any laces, you do feel slightly looser, but you know, if you're not doing any extensive running and you're just big chilling, just, you know, hanging out, whatever like that, it should work out fairly well. No real adjustments have to be made because the sock booty in here is actually, it's pretty much covering your whole foot like this right here, so you should be good. So it just depends on what you want to do. But this is one look. You can be on foot of that. And this is the classic regular degular. Boom. All right, final products. So you have your choice. Bordeaux on the outside or the black on the outside, lace-wise. This is what it'll turn out to be looking like. If you follow my easy steps, easy tutorial. And there it is. My name is Emilio. Enjoy the rest of your day. Woo!